There is a part of you cloaked in shadows, quietly steering the deepest currents of your feelings, those sudden waves of anger that shame you, the unexpected well of jealousy, the cold grip of fear that feels too heavy to bear. It lurks inside the unseen chambers of your mind, behind the mask you wear, beyond the story you tell yourself about who you are. Maybe you've felt it in moments you don't understand, when a small comment triggers a storm of emotion, when jealousy wells up unexpectedly, or when fear tightens its grip, and you wonder why these feelings feel so much bigger than the situation itself. These are not random glitches inside your mind. They are shadows of yourself calling out for recognition. Carl Jung called this hidden realm the shadow self. The shadow is the collection of parts within you that you reject, deny, or push away, those traits and feelings you don't admit are yours because they don't fit the image you wish to portray. But pushing these parts down, hiding them in the dark, does not erase them. Instead, they shape your life from the shadows, influencing your relationships, your choices, your peace of mind. The story Jung tells offers a powerful truth. The shadow is not your enemy, but a part of your wholeness waiting for light. To live truly free and fully alive, you must learn to meet your shadow, to listen to its language, and to walk the path of shadow work, a courageous, transformative journey that can change your life in profound ways. You carry the shadow like a silent twin, intertwined with your conscious self, the face you show the world. It is made up of emotions and impulses you condemn, anger, envy, greed, fears, and insecurities you bury deep because they feel unworthy or dangerous. But lurking alongside these are also treasures, raw creativity, passion, and untamed energy, parts of yourself you once dismissed, but that hold your true power. When you deny the shadow, it fights back with relentless strength. It bursts out in unexpected anger, sabotages your best efforts, and distorts your relationships. The traits you despise in others, the arrogance, jealousy, or cruelty you see, are often reflections of your own hidden parts, projected onto them. This projection clouds your perception and stunts your growth, trapping you in cycles of misunderstanding and pain. Imagine walking through life, carrying a locked box filled with these hidden parts. Unaware it's there, influencing every step. Shadow work is the key, a journey to unlock that box, shine light inside, and welcome what you find there, not with condemnation, but with compassion. Shadow work begins with awareness, the willingness to sit with discomfort and notice your triggers without turning away. When someone angeres you or hurts you deeply, shadow work asks, what is this really about in me? What part of myself have I not seen or accepted? It's not easy to look honestly at these parts, but in avoidance, you remain captive. In acknowledgement, you begin to reclaim freedom. The process requires patience. The shadow resists fiercely because it has sequestered itself for survival. It disguises itself in excuses, defensiveness, and rationalizations. But with steadfast honesty and self-compassion, you invite it out. Integration follows awareness and acceptance. You take what is unconscious and make it conscious, weaving once isolated parts into the fabric of your identity. Through this inner alchemy, the friction you have lived with begins to ease. Conflicts soften, and a new sense of wholeness emerges. No longer fragmented by denial, you move deeper into who you truly are, flaws, gifts, and all. The rewards of shadow work are immense and life-changing. The emotional triggers that once seemed uncontrollable lose their grip. You no longer react blindly, but respond with wisdom. Relationships deepen because you show up fully, able to hold not only your light, but your darkness without shame or fear. Patterns that once held you captive fall away, and a new freedom takes root inside. You might notice a profound shift in how you relate to yourself and others. Where you once held rigid judgments, a gentle curiosity begins to grow. The compassion you cultivate for your shadow extends to your fellow humans as well. You see now that everyone carries a shadow, Everyone wrestles with hidden parts, trying desperately to be heard. This shared human experience invites connection instead of isolation. One of the shadow's most elusive tricks is projection, turning the mirror outwards when we are afraid to face who we truly are. When you judge or criticize traits in others, you may actually be seeing your own denied aspects reflected back at you. For instance, if you find someone's arrogance intolerable, it might be because you have disowned your own pride or insecurity. Recognizing projection is a key step in shadow work. It invites you to pause and ask, what am I really reacting to here? What part of myself have I not yet embraced? This reflection opens the door to insight and healing. Another way the shadow manifests is through self-sabotage, those repeated patterns that keep you stuck despite your best intentions. Whether it's procrastination, addictive behaviors, or destructive relationships, shadow parts often hold the keys to why these patterns persist. By meeting these parts with curiosity and compassion, you can begin to unravel and transform them. Because the shadow holds pain and fear, it resists being seen. When you shine light on it, the shadow might provoke discomfort, vulnerability, or even fear of losing control. This is natural. True shadow work is not about rushing to fix or suppress these feelings. It's about befriending them, learning their stories, and discovering what gifts they offer beneath the surface. Through this process, the shadow loses its grip as a mysterious, destructive force and instead becomes an ally in your growth. You gain wisdom about your own complexities and develop a richer, more authentic relationship with yourself. The courage to journey into the shadow is also an act of profound self-love. It means choosing to know yourself wholly, not just the parts that are easy or socially acceptable. It means creating space for your imperfections and your humanity. Importantly, shadow work is not solitary. While deeply personal, it benefits greatly from community and guidance. Whether through therapy, support groups, or learning companions who understand Jungian insights, walking the shadow path is easier and more sustaining when shared. As you step onto this journey, here are some reflections to consider. When have you felt the strongest emotional reactions? What might these moments be revealing about hidden parts of yourself? Which qualities in others evoke the most intense judgments or discomfort? Could these point to aspects of your own shadow? How do you usually respond to your darker feelings, anger, jealousy, fear? Do you push them away, or can you sit with them and listen? Remember, it's okay to be afraid of what you might find in your shadow. Fear is part of the process, and often a sign that you are approaching meaningful change. Approach your shadow slowly and with patience. There is no rush. Every small step of acknowledgement builds new pathways toward healing and wholeness. Carl Jung taught that walking with your shadow is a journey into inner wholeness. It's about becoming the person you were always meant to be, complex, imperfect, and whole. You don't have to be perfect or fixed to embrace your shadow. The goal is integration, not elimination. To be whole means to hold light and dark in balance, to allow all parts of yourself to exist in harmony. When you begin to see your shadow not as an adversary, but as a guide, you open yourself to transformational possibilities. Your relationships deepen, your creativity flourishes, and your life takes on new meaning and authenticity. This path requires commitment, bravery, and compassion, but it gifts you with freedom, the freedom to live fully and authentically, no longer ruled by unseen forces, but empowered by self-knowledge. Many people ask, how do I actually do shadow work? The question is natural, as the idea can feel overwhelming without clear beginnings. While shadow work is deeply personal and varies for everyone, there are foundational practices to start unveiling the hidden parts waiting for your attention. Begin with self-observation without judgment. When you feel triggered, caught in repetitive emotional reactions, or stuck in an old pattern, pause and ask yourself, what is this feeling showing me? What part of myself am I avoiding? Journaling can be a powerful tool here. Writing your thoughts and emotions offers a safe container to explore without censorship. Over time, patterns will emerge that reveal shadow themes, maybe recurring anger in certain situations, or persistent feelings of unworthiness. Meditative practices that cultivate mindfulness are also valuable. Being present with your emotions, even the uncomfortable ones, allows you to witness your shadow without immediate reaction or suppression. This space between stimulus and response is where true shadow work begins. Another pathway to healing is active imagination, a technique Jung developed that involves dialoguing with parts of your unconscious through creative expression drawings, writing, or visualization. This helps personalize and humanize your shadow, transforming fear into understanding. Therapy or counseling, especially with professionals trained in Jungian or depth psychology, provides vital support. Sometimes the shadow's depths uncover pain too heavy to carry alone, and safe guidance helps navigate these waters. Sharing your journey in supportive communities also reduces isolation and resonates with the universal nature of the shadow. Shadow work isn't about quick fixes or rushing through discomfort. It's a gradual unfolding, with progress often coming in waves, sometimes feeling like 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Honoring this rhythm, offering yourself grace when shadows rise, and continuing with patience is essential. Shadow work fundamentally changes your relationship to yourself. Instead of harsh self-criticism, you develop radical self-acceptance. The parts you once hid or despised are no longer threats but teachers and allies. This transformation builds self-compassion, the cornerstone of psychological healing. Embracing your shadow also reshapes your view of others. When you recognize that everyone harbors hidden struggles, compassion naturally follows judgment. You become less reactive to others' behaviors, seeing them as reflections of their own shadows rather than personal attacks or failures. This empathy enhances your relationships, allowing deeper connection and authentic communication. You no longer need to armor yourself behind facades or defensive postures. Instead, vulnerability becomes your strength. In addition, shadow integration ignites creativity and innovation. The creative spark often resides in shadow qualities suppressed by societal expectations or personal fears. When you give these parts a voice, you tap into raw inspiration and originality that fuels art, problem-solving, and passionate living. Many of history's great creators and visionaries, artists, writers, musicians, have reflected on wrestling with their shadows. Accepting and channeling their inner darkness became a wellspring for their genius. You too carry this potential for transformation within your shadow. As you embrace your shadow, you might notice shifts in your life purpose and meaning. Suddenly, what once felt empty or directionless begins to pulse with significance. Understanding yourself more completely invites clarity on what truly matters, inspiring bold choices aligned with your authentic self. This expanded awareness does not guarantee an easy life. Shadow work often unearths difficult emotions and calls for continual growth. However, the freedom gained from living full and free outweighs the challenges. The transformation is profound, a life lived in authentic presence with eyes wide open to both shadow and light. To conclude, the shadow self is an unavoidable and vital aspect of your being. It shapes your life, whether you acknowledge it or not. Carl Jung's genius lies in illuminating this hidden realm, offering a path of healing and integration. Shadow work asks a brave question. Will you turn away from your darkness or meet it with openness? Will you continue to be unconsciously driven or step into conscious freedom? The shadow is not a curse, but a call and invitation to reclaim your wholeness and power. It is the doorway to a life of authenticity, creativity, and deep connection. Your journey into the shadow is the greatest gift you can give yourself. It is the most courageous path to liberation. And it begins with the simple act of turning your gaze inward. Will you take that step today? As you walk the path of shadow work, remember this: you are not alone. The shadow is a shared human experience, a universal part of all our psyches. Every person you meet carries hidden parts, unspoken fears, and silent wounds. Knowing this connects you to a profound truth. You are part of a greater whole, a human tapestry woven with light and dark alike. The more you accept your own shadow, the more you cultivate empathy and understanding for others. This is the essence of authentic connection, a connection that does not deny complexity, but embraces it in all its beautiful messiness. Carl Jung believed that the ultimate goal of life is individuation, a process of becoming whole and fully yourself by integrating your unconscious, including your shadow. This journey is ongoing, ever deepening, a magnificent unfolding that lasts a lifetime. Shadow work is the door to this journey. It is an invitation to heal your wounds, reclaim your gifts, and live with fearless authenticity. It will challenge you, at times shake the foundations of your identity, and confront you with uncomfortable truths. But with each step forward, you discover new layers of freedom, power, and joy. Your shadow is not your enemy. It is your hidden ally, a source of strength, creativity, and insight masked by fear and neglect. When you meet it with compassion, it stops controlling you from the shadows and begins to serve your growth. So the choice is yours. Will you keep living in fragments, unaware of the forces shaping your life? Or will you embrace the courage to explore your inner darkness, trusting that in the light of awareness, your true self awaits? The most profound transformation you can experience begins with the simplest step, turning inward with courage and kindness. If this journey speaks to you, if you feel the stirrings of your shadow calling, take that step now. Allow yourself to be seen, not just the parts you show the world, but the parts you keep hidden. Because in the full embrace of all that you are, true liberation lives. Thank you for joining me in this exploration. If this video has touched you, please share your reflections and start a conversation. You never know whose shadow might be waiting for light. The path of shadow work is difficult, but it is also the most rewarding journey toward wholeness and freedom you will ever take. Your shadow is waiting. Will you answer the call?